What is going on, guys? My name is Taylor Stuber, and I'm here to break down this Tuesday, December 22nd, opening day NBA slate on DraftKings Fanduel, and of course, the sponsor of this video, PrizePicks.com. Man, I know a lot of you guys have been riding with me throughout the preseason. It has been very, very profitable and lucrative for us. But it's time for the regular season. Hopefully it's a bit less hectic than the preseason, but I expect it to be, even with COVID and all these late scratches. I'm assuming we're going to get throughout the year, but should be a lot less hectic than the preseason. So I know we're probably going to get a lot more viewers and members in our Discord with this, but just to let you guys know what I do offer all of my content for completely free, no charge at all. If you guys want to get my free player pools, cheat sheets, team by team notes, live streams before lock, and these videos, all you have to do is join that Discord link below. It's completely free. Go into the free content tab. You can get all that information for free. Now, I have offered these services for a price before, but this year I decided to do it for completely free. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure to do so. And then if you guys want to enter my giveaway for a free $25 via PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, I just like giving back to you guys. All you have to do is subscribe, like this video, and then comment below with your favorite play of the day. And of course, guys, I will be live streaming on Twitch an hour before lock every single day. So tomorrow, an hour before this Golden State game at 5 p.m. Central Time, I will be answering some questions, breaking down all the news, and then PrizePicks was kind enough to allow us to give away $100 via PrizePicks Cash. So make sure to be there if you guys want a chance to win $100 worth of PrizePicks money. We've been having a good time over there. And of course, if you guys want to sign up over there using code Taylor, TAYLOR, the link is also in the description. You can get a 100% match bonus up to $100, and if you let me know you did so, I will make sure to give you my my free picks that I personally use over there on PrizePicks. I've been pretty profitable over the past week or so. So let's just jump right into the slate. So we'll start off with the Golden State Warriors. They have a 230.5 over under in this game. The Nets are favored by 7 points as of right now. Draymond Green is probably going to miss this game. He's currently doubtful. Eric Pascal should start in his place. He's averaging 0.97 fantasy points per minute. The other main thing to know on the slate is that James Wiseman is set to return. He missed all of the preseason, but he's been playing in full speed practices. Will be available and should probably start this game. We know that Kerr already mentioned that he will be starting sometime this season, and Tuesday could be that first game. So if he's starting, that's going to take a hit to guys like Kevon Looney, who's been starting the preseason, Marquez Chris. Now, he's only 4,000 over here on DraftKings, which would be very, very interesting if we knew that he was going to get any sort of minutes at the 4 behind Eric Pascal, because if we knew that he was backing up the 5 and the 4 minutes, I would like him because he's averaged 1.4 fantasy points per minute so far in the season. Has been very, very active when he's out there on the court, even when he's next to guys like Steph Curry. But if we know that it's just going to be those 3 guys splitting the 48 minutes and they're not playing anywhere else, it's going to be hard to get to them, just because the minutes are going to be so limited and spread out between the 3 of them. It just makes me not want to play any of those guys. But Curry, on the other hand, should play pretty big minutes this year if they're wanting to make the playoffs. They're looking to make maybe the 7 or 8 seed. The West is really, really tough. So expect him to play like 38-40 minutes if this game is competitive. He's had a 31.1% usage rating, averaging 1.53 fantasy points per minute throughout the preseason. He's 9,300. I think that point per dollar wise, he might be my favorite stud on the slate. It's really, really top heavy especially for a 2-game slate. But I do like Steph Curry at 9.3K on FanDuel. He's an absolute lock for me. I don't understand his price at 8.7K. Yeah, I'm going to take that. I think that's a slam dunk play. And then over here on PrizePicks, the over on 48.5 seems pretty close to a lock for me as well. One other thing to note is Andrew Wiggins. I think he's pretty cheap over here on FanDuel. He is only 6.6K. I think that he's going to play around 36 minutes, and the defensive stats have just really come up since coming over to this Golden State team. So especially on FanDuel, where he's getting these steals and blocks and being the second offensive option on this team, Andrew Wiggins seems like a slam dunk play over there on FanDuel. DraftKings 7,000. Not nearly as desirable because especially over here, you're probably going to play a bunch of these cheaper guys like Eric Pascal and then try to get 2 or 3 of these studs in your lineup. But I do think Andrew Wiggins is definitely viable on the slate. Move over to the opposite side of the court with the Brooklyn Nets, 7-point favorites in this game. They're completely healthy right now, so this team is going to be very, very scary as long as they're healthy. Kevin Durant, in 51 minutes in this preseason, has a 29.1% usage rating, 15.2 assist percentage, averaging 1.17 fantasy points per minute, which I expect that to boost up a bit. We know that he is coming off not playing for well over a year, especially with the whole COVID thing, prolonging that whole injury thing. So I expect him to play anywhere from 34 to 36 minutes. I don't think they push it early on, especially in games where they're handling it pretty well. I know it is a revenge game, I guess you could say, against the Golden State Warriors. I don't mind him at 9.8K. I more so like him over here on FanDuel at 8.5K. Don't understand these prices. They really upped the prices of the Lakers guys, and then the other stud players like Kawhi, Paul George, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. They're all much, much cheaper than LeBron and AD. Even though I do have AD and LeBron as my top projected players on the slate, point per dollar, they're pretty close to last out of the studs on FanDuel. DraftKings, they're much, much closer. But I do like Kevin Durant quite a bit. I hate that he's only power forward eligible over here. If I were to pick between him and Anthony Davis at pretty much the same price, I would side with AD. So Kevin Durant, mostly GPPs for me. And then Kyrie Irving, in 45 minutes so far in the preseason, he had a 25.7% usage rating, 30% assist percentage, averaging 1.49 fantasy points per minute. Now, those numbers are a bit skewed, and obviously these are very, very low sample sizes. But especially one of those first halves, he was incredibly efficient, and that's why his points per minute is so high. But regardless, I think that he's going to play 34 to 36 minutes. Him and Durant are going to garner all of the usage when they're out there on the court. So I think they're both really solid plays today. I might rather have guys like Curry or AD, but nonetheless, they're good plays. So Jared Allen and Jordan will split the majority of the center minutes, but there's a chance Kevin Durant and Jeff Green will steal minutes like we've seen in the preseason. So yeah, we've seen KD, we've seen Jeff Green steal minutes at the 5 in the preseason already. So I don't know how many minutes we're going to get out of Jared Allen and DeAndre Jordan, especially at these prices at 6.2K and 5.6K. I'm not very interested in these guys at all at those prices. I think over here on FanDuel that the prices are weird. So we got 5.1K as the most expensive center. All of these guys are going to play limited minutes, and the thing I hate the most about this is that Serge Ibaka is power forward when he's only going to be playing the 5 for this Clippers team. So I would prefer Serge to all these guys over here if we knew that he was if he was center eligible over there, but he's not, obviously. LeVert only played 20 minutes in the preseason, only played 1 game. Coming off the bench, Dinwiddie's starting over him, but he had a 35.3% usage rating, and a lot of his minutes will be without Durant and Irving on the court. He's really coming off the bench for guys, and then they're kind of staggering the minutes between them. I expect him to play like 24 to 26 minutes a game throughout the regular season. While this usage rating isn't sustainable, he should be clearly the 3rd highest usage rating guy on this team. I think he's way too cheap over here on FanDuel. They brought his price down all the way to, if I can find him, to 5.8K. I think he's very, very cheap over here. You could pair him with Kelly Oubre if you want to save some money, or pair him with a guy like LeBron or Kawhi Leonard if you're going in that high range. And then Dinwiddie should be in line for 30 plus minutes this game. In 45 minutes so far in the preseason, he had an 18.8% usage rating, a 27% assist percentage, averaging just over a fantasy point per minute at 1.06 fantasy points per minute. He's only $6,000, pretty cheap on FanDuel as well. I like both of those guys. When it comes to LeVert and Dinwiddie, LeVert not so much at 6.5K, just because I don't see that clear of a path to his minutes being there, unless they upped his minutes. And if they upped his minutes, that was going to be more minutes next to Kyrie and Kevin Durant, which those minutes aren't going to be nearly as efficient as the other ones. We'll move over to the last game and the second game on the slate between the Clippers and the Lakers. 223.5 over under. Lakers are 3-point favorites as expected. Marcus Morris is questionable. He missed the entire preseason, and Batum will likely continue to start in his absence. So we've seen Batum start in Marcus's absence throughout the preseason. He's only 4.1K. Now, he's not the best fantasy point per minute player. He averages 0.7 fantasy points per minute so far in this preseason. But if you look at the rotations of this Clippers team, Batum was on pace to play 30 to 32 minutes, or maybe even a little more, if the first halves were extrapolated into the second half. So at 4.1K and then at the absolute bare minimum over on FanDuel, I think he's worth a look, especially with this slate being so top heavy. If you're trying to get to 3 of these studs, going down to guys like Pascal and Batum can really open up some salary and make that viable to do. Kawhi Leonard averaged 1.46 fantasy points per minute. Paul George 1.2 fantasy points per minute last year. And so I would expect something similar to this rather. And then Marcus Morris being replaced by Batum opens up a ton of usage. Marcus didn't have the highest usage rating, but Batum is going to have about a 10-11% usage rating. So definitely going to open up some opportunities for Kawhi and Paul George as well. And then one of my absolute locks over here on Prize Picks is Paul George over 38 fantasy points per minute. So I think he's going to play about 38 minutes this game, 36 at the bare minimum, assuming this game is competitive. He averaged 1.25 fantasy points per minute last year. So even if he played 38 minutes and just averaged 1 fantasy point per minute, he would hit this. So I like the over pretty easily. I think a lot of people are still down on Paul George because of his awful postseason performances last year. But over the course of his career, he's a much, much better player than that. And even when he was playing so bad, he was still averaging about 38 fantasy points per minute. So I do like the over on Paul George. You can match him with guys like AD, LeBron, Curry. I like the overs on all of those guys. I really lean towards the over on pretty much all of these. I'm a bit hesitant on Kevin Durant just because I don't know where the minutes are going to be. But guys like Curry, LeBron, AD, Paul George, I like the overs on all of them. That's a good opportunity to 10x your money. And if you guys want my official picks that I'm going to be placing, I'll place them probably sometime tonight or the morning of Tuesday before the lines start moving too heavily. And then one last thing I wanted to mention for this Clippers team is that Ibaka and Zubac will split the 48 center minutes. Early lean is a 28-20 split in favor of Ibaka. So if we get 28 minutes from Ibaka, which if you've looked at his true shooting throughout his career, every year he's really getting better and better and better, and the usage keeps going up and up. Now his usage probably will take a bit of a hit playing next to Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, but he's become even more efficient throughout the years, even at his age. He's over 30 years old and he continues to get better shooting wise. So at 5.2K, I think that he's a pretty solid value play on this slate. One of my favorite center plays. Unfortunately, he's power forward over here on FanDuel for whatever reason, but shout out FanDuel. I guess that's just what they do. But only 5.5K, so definitely someone I'm decently interested in. But again, I think that you want to focus more on the studs in the slate, maybe Batum if you need a salary saver. And then we'll go to the last team on the slate, the Los Angeles Lakers. Dennis Schroeder's questionable. So we saw one game where Schroeder was questionable and he started next to LeBron James. So when all the starters were healthy for the most part, Dennis Schroeder started next to LeBron. But when Schroeder missed that last game, LeBron started at point guard. So LeBron at point guard is a great play. He's averaged he's had like a 44% usage rating throughout the preseason. And so at 9.6K, I think he's probably the best. He's my favorite stud on the slate projection wise, and you get a small discount between him and Anthony Davis. But if Schroeder plays, I think he's a decent play at 5.8K, but I think I'm going to go with more of the cheaper guys and try to get to 2 or 3 of these studs tonight. And then will we see any minutes from Anthony Davis? That's the question, because Marcus Gasol has been starting. Montrezl coming off the bench. We know that even against the Suns, Marcus Gasol was getting tortured by the pick and roll. So I guess in competitive games or in the postseason especially, AD is going to play a lot more minutes at the 5. Now, early in the regular season, I don't know if they force him out there at the 5 because obviously they're the best when he's at the 5, but he does not like playing there. So if I don't think we see it early, so I think we see a 48-minute split between Montrezl Harrell and Marc Gasol, more of probably 26 to 28 minutes for Marc Gasol as well. So Montrezl is pretty much out of the question if he's only going to be playing 20 to 22 minutes. Marc Gasol at 4.7K, not the best fantasy point per minute producer, but if he's playing 28 minutes at 4.7K, I guess he's not the worst price. And then over here on FanDuel, he's only 3.8K. I definitely think that's worth a shot. When he's out there, especially with Schroeder off the court, he can run the offense just because he can catch guys cutting to the hoop so much. So the ball's going to be out of LeBron's hands a little bit more with Marc Gasol out there. A lot different having him out there rather than guys like Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee, who they had last year. But yeah, I think that this is going to be a 10-man rotation for the most part, maybe 11 if Talon Horton-Tucker played himself into this rotation. I think he would be in that rotation if Schroeder was out, but I do think that there's a chance that Schroeder's in. And then even regardless, Talon Horton-Tucker's not going to be playing very much at all and is not viable at 3.5K until he proves and knocks one of these guys out like Wesley Matthews or... I mean, this team's really good. Or Alex Caruso out of the rotation. He would have to do one of those two things and then start playing like 24 minutes a game to even be viable at this price. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I have. Make sure to join the live stream. An hour before lock, we're going to be doing those giveaways, answering some questions. And, of course, make sure to join that Discord. All my free content will be down below. Hope you guys do well tonight. Excited the NBA is back. Hope you guys all do well. Appreciate the viewership and all the likes, the subscriptions. We've been growing pretty massively lately, and it feels great, and it's all due to you guys. But yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow, and until next time, peace.